Laughing Monkey Music Show. Tonight we have of Limbo. We have Jake and Luke on. How are you guys doing today?
Good, buddy.
Great, mate. Thanks for having us.
Well, glad you can make it. You guys are pretty hot, and you guys have been busy lately.
We have been, yeah.
So, actually, you guys were just playing with Buck Cherry, right?
We were, yep.
You might need to get a COVID test.
Yeah, I saw that. We did
a
whole month run with them throughout June, and we were actually super bummed we didn't get to do any of the July, but apparently, I don't know, I guess it was kind of somewhat of a blessing in disguise given the fact that they had this positive COVID test, etc. Because who knows what we would have done if we were out there in the middle of the country without any shows for 2.5, 3 weeks. So our heart goes out to those boys. We had a great time with them. They're lovely dudes, obviously. We had a great time. The shows were fantastic. They bring a great crowd and killer energy, but we're hoping to meet up with them later in the year, perhaps. As of right now, I hope they all just get better and get back to playing again.
Very cool. So the crowd's a little different. Like, your music is a little bit different now. How would you categorize yourself? I think you guys are good, but it's hard to, I hate to put a genre on you guys.
I guess you'd put it in hard rock, but that's kind of what the whole name Limbo pertains to. It's us really striving to be as diverse from song to song as possible. I guess a band that we look up to in that fashion would be Faith No More. You can listen to one song on the same album hilarious. And it sounds completely different from the very next song.
There you go. You didn't even know that. There you go.
Yeah. I don't think we sound anything like Faith No More, but as far as the diversity of them from themselves, that's something that we definitely strive to do.
Well, actually, you say that does make a lot more sense because you guys do go all over, and that's why it's kind of like interesting, as far as touring where you guys have played with certain bands, because you guys sound really great, like acoustically, and doing some of your, so you do like Wicked Game, you guys could sound beautiful. You guys could just be like a pop, top 40 band, but then you guys rock so hard, like almost like rocky, thrashy. You guys really
goes heavy. So I'm like, sure. Yep.
Some real grungy ones in there. That's the interesting thing about with which band we go out with. I mean, for Buck Cherry, obviously we would cater our set to be as party rock, rah fun time as possible, because that's what the crowd are going to see. They're going to see Buck Cherry, and they want that big party rock energy. So that's what we catered to for that tour.
And when you've only got 45 minutes a night, you know what I mean? It's very hard to condense a whole band's kind of catalog into one little set. So to that point, we just tried to fit the energy of the band that we're opening up for, and whatever the crowd kind of is expecting, we do the best that we can to prep them, to kind of lube them up a little bit and get them kind of the juices flowing for Buck Cherry and whoever. I guess the next one's going to be Candlebox, obviously. So we're going to change the set a little bit. But for the Buck Cherry one, we just went really kind of balls to the wall, just party rock and having fun. So to make sure that everyone's drinking and having a good time and ready to rock for Buck Cherry.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I was wondering with that, because I know Buck Cherry's always been their own island. They say that themselves, they're an island of music, like where they fit, because they're not really anything out there either. So be curious how you guys were going to do it. I can see you guys fit with Candlebox too, because they're more of the alternative 90s music. So
exactly,
you guys, the audience is a little different too.
For sure, there's more leeway for some of kind of our softer, more alternative songs. Like "Happened Again" is one that we'll definitely be playing, I imagine, for the Candlebox tour, where it gets, I don't know, a little bit of that kind of softer Alice in Chains sort of 90s vibe at times, and it allows a little bit more leeway and vocal harmonies and things like that, rather than just going, everybody party, let's get fucked up, for example, is another one of our songs that we make sure that we always play with Buck Cherry, because when they're following up with songs like Cocaine or Crazy Bitch or something like that, having everybody pretty drunk already is a good thing to do, to make sure that they're already involved in this, in the show. So
you have a new single coming out, or is actually out. I think you have an album coming out too. Is the single part of the album or what?
Sure, we're going single by single at the moment with our new record label, Big Panda Records, and that seems to be a nice way to go for us at the moment. The next one that's coming out is Running Out of Time. It's one we played in our set for a long time throughout the years. It's kind of about the idea of people not really appreciating life and living it to the fullest until you find out that you don't have that much of it left. Let's say you got diagnosed with cancer or something like that, and you got told you got 30 days to live. Those 30 days would probably be pretty action-packed, full of probably the funnest times that you've ever had because you would live them up to the fullest. It's kind of about that concept. And yeah, it should be out pretty soon.
Well, it's a good time for having it too. Nowadays, everyone's just gone through COVID, so maybe.
Exactly. Yeah, very much. And I mean, the other thing that we noticed while going out with Buck Sherry is how everyone was just like salivating to be out there and rocking and having a good time as an audience again, because as everybody knows, we all took it for granted just before COVID. Then boom, when COVID hits, it's like, Jesus, what I wouldn't give to be at a concert again. And then now they've got
finally
the chance
have the opportunity once again. So,
hopefully it won't turn either.
Yeah.
So actually, you guys are probably just was a talk for a little side note here. A singer and guitar player brother that aren't fighting in an interview. That's new.
hey, we had.
I don't know if that's gonna catch on or anything. Talking from the Kinks, the Crows, to everyone else, but we'll try it.
It could happen at any moment. We were fighting just not long ago. Last night, we had a good old fight last night.
Drunk and yell at each other, but it never lasts more than 30 minutes.
No, the cohesiveness between us is pretty good in general, and we try to be pretty level-headed whenever we do fight to be able to just like quip it in the butt pretty quick and just like move on. This is reality. Let's just, whatever happens. Let's make it work. You know what I mean? So we try to make everything as efficient as possible in our relationship. And more than that, we fucking love each other.
We do.
That's good. I mean, you guys have gone through a lot. I mean, to be in a band and to be brothers.
Yeah.
And I know we don't have to rehash it. There's a link for the acts that you guys went through. You guys have really gone through a lot. Had some good second chances or your own, inspiration for that song. I'm sure there's other inspirations, but so, I mean, you've got a lot going.
Yeah.
So,
That one was written like not too long before the accident. We always felt like, wow, it was kind of prophetic in a way, because definitely when we went through the accident, it did change our perspective on life, and it did make us understand that shit, you don't have all the time in the world, and you better fucking put all the effort you can into something while you have the time to do it.
And for anybody who doesn't know, just Google the band and the accident. It'll come right up. It's all there. We don't need to go through it. And it's done perfectly in that little piece you did in the video. So, I mean, you just can't do it better. I'm glad you guys are okay. It's amazing. You guys no one got hurt. We're like really, I mean, your leg, but I'm saying like nobody got killed. It's amazing.
Yeah, still here. The leg works now.
He's on it, like literally still kicking. And more than that, we play basketball every now and again, and he goes on runs with us. Like he's good. The leg is good. He feels good. Everything seems.
Any good warnings, like when the storms are coming? Any like pain in your leg? You're like,
I really haven't had too much of that, honestly, dude.
That's like the superpower you get with an accident.
The airport thing doesn't set off with my leg either. Maybe it's because it's titanium or adamantium, or I have no idea what. Yeah. But no, I really haven't had. I mean, I haven't experienced too many cold winters. We're living here in Southern California, so yeah. I'm not in the deads of Idaho or whatever. So I don't know. Maybe it could get worse.
Your videos are really, really good. They're shot really well.
Thanks, buddy.
We like talk about like visually. You guys are like your videos are like watercolors. It's like it's so fulfilling to watch visually. Is that a concept you guys come up with first and then work with the video guys the same? How does that?
The video guy is sitting right next to me right here. This is our man. This is the guy. Yes.
I edit them, but I mean, we've had different directors shoot them before. Brandon, our old drummer Juan, our friend Tony Berselli. So it's definitely not all me on that end, but I do edit them and I come up with the ideas a lot.
He's being very humble for sure. There's definitely photographers that fulfill the vision, but to be honest with you, Jake is definitely the spearhead of the operation in terms of video and in general, any of our graphics and things like that. So, nice. I mean, obviously, thank you for the compliment that they're vivid and they're capturing.
I love them. And that was actually the first thing I saw. Like, I've been listening to you guys for a while before I even reached out. That's like, I love how it's shot. I love the lighting. Lighting is the worst thing ever for a video to get right. So to get it spot on it with those colors and just all the videos you guys do, I just started noticing even more each time. It's so good. I mean, and it's good because your music is really good too. So it'd be really disappointing if your music sucked and your videos really. It'd be like, turn down the volume, maybe put Pink Floyd on, and yeah, right. But no, it's you guys can pull it off really well. Are you guys when you're writing songs, is it just you two sitting around like acoustically first, or how you guys doing that?
Yeah, it usually starts with a guitar riff for 99% of it, and then it sort of builds around that. That's the primary.
It's one sparking idea, mainly a guitar riff, or sometimes like For Nothing But Now, you started that song with just the vocal idea. You came with nothing but now, there's nothing but now, there's nothing but fucking nothing but now. And that spurred on the guitar riff from there, and things like that. But it generally starts as just, one spark, one ember, whether it be a guitar riff or a vocal idea. Those are the two main things that start first, for sure.
And there's also always like a vault of guitar riffs in our head that we both know we have in the Rolodex.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, this riff, that one from, we're talking about that Ocean's 11 style one?
Jigsaw puzzle.
That works really well with this one. Maybe let's try this one with that one. And then it all usually connects itself together.
We got a fucking lot of stuff that we want to get out, but obviously the actual production process, getting songs finished and polished and recorded well, we're playing catch up very much. And it feels like, in terms of the writing, at least, he's absolutely right. It's a jigsaw puzzle of fitting together riffs, fitting together certain ideas from 4 years ago. Oh, Jake will be like, what about this riff? And then I'll be like, okay. And then I'll play something new. And then these two things from one riff from 5 years ago will suddenly link with something that I just did 10 minutes ago. But still, it's very hard these days to manifest that into something that is actually polished and produced.
Yeah, to the quality level that
it takes a lot of time and effort to get stuff actually really done right. And if it's not done right, then you
wasted it.
Exactly. Whatever your vision of the song is, if you don't produce it well, then the public or the audience won't understand it in the way that you want them to, or you want to at least fucking send it off as. Because
and you've thrown those riffs away, you've thrown them in the garbage. Like,
exactly.
What's the point in even doing it if you're not going to do it right?
Yep, exactly.
It's a challenge, I think, because some artists are doing a lot more recording at home, and then you can do your own music, find a publisher, but you still control your own music. And really, as you guys are doing singles now, but are the singles all going to become an album when you're done at a certain point? There's so many different, the model is so different right now,
Yeah,
exactly.
It's whatever.
Where are you guys with that idea, with the model?
Well, the whole single thing, I mean, just in terms of attention span of the audience these days, and in general, as an upcoming band, to get 10 songs out there is a lot of work
and a lot of money.
And a lot of work, and potentially 3, 4, 5, 6 of those songs won't even get listened by a lot of the audience. You're looking at 4 singles maybe on a 10-song album, and it just seems much more, I guess, prudent or wise to spend your time and invest it on doing a single by single by single. That way you can give it each song its own identity. Exactly, especially with the way that he does, especially the way that he does the graphics, etc. It kind of builds like a culture around each sort of song is what we're trying to do. And that way every single song has
its own importance,
maximum impact for all the listeners, maximum engagement that way.
And it also can bring, like, if it doesn't have a visual, let's say the song Get On It, it sounds like this sort of Ted Nugent-y, Motley Crue kind of song, blah, blah, blah. But when we showed a few of our friends before we did the art for it, their reaction was like, oh yeah, cool, kind of hard rock song, blah, blah, blah. But then those same friends heard the song again when we put the art to it that had that 80s Macho Man, Randy Savage, wrestler, exercise fucking thing to it. So when they saw it with the visual, it gave it this new context. And this same song that they'd heard before, but not given a massive reaction to, they're like, oh my God, man, I love the new single, blah, 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 blah. I'm
completely shifted.
Yeah, holding inside myself the fact that I know that you heard this fucking single before, motherfucker, and you didn't give a shit about it.
Yeah.
But now because it's got this, it's giving you this new framework. And it just goes to what we're talking about.
To show that it's a package, and the more that there's a visual there to it, the more that they actually engage.
Do you think that's because of your audience? No, because I say that, I think just first off, there's no real wrong answer, because I think especially rock music in general is trying to format itself. But I think like some bands are like a little bit older than yours are still trying to figure out, do we do singles and then at the end we do an album, because the fan base of like I like to buy albums, like vinyl albums of rock bands still. Like
I would like to do an album for sure.
But generation, you guys are almost in a spot in the middle where it's closer to some nowadays where a lot of bands just do singles, totally just do singles. Yep. And you guys are kind of got like a leg in each area. And some bands are like, maybe I don't want to do a video because like a book, you want to read about it, you want to have it in your head. But then generationally nowadays, a lot of people just want to have the package. So once again, you're also straddling both things where you're kind of spoon feeding an idea to them.
I love to have a video for every song, a graphic for every song, ideally. And I mean, like Luke said, we'd ideally love to have a full album, but even though we've been around for a little while, we are still essentially a startup. So the amount of money that's required to put a full album out and spend that amount of time in the studio for one particular package doesn't necessarily make too much sense. When right now putting out one by one, even if we recorded like 5 of them as an EP, you can put one by one and then combine it as an EP at the end,
I agree. I think it's probably the best thing to do for a band where you're at right now, but
it's tough otherwise for engagement for sure.
But it's an interesting spot because even the bigger bands, they still don't have the same thing. Like we're talking, actually, Buck Cherry's a perfect example. They're doing a single a month, building up on a media platform because of, how marketing is. They had a great marketing plan, but their band, their audience is like bigger a span of age. You know what I'm saying? Whereas someone like me will buy it, but there's a younger people there too who aren't going to buy it. They're just going to listen to the singles on iTunes or Spotify or whatever. So.
And obviously the old model was you tour to promote an album, and now it's the exact opposite. It's you make an album to promote a tour. So that's the other thing. If you're going to make an album to promote a tour, then it makes a lot more sense to slow drip release it so that it's constantly promoting this tour that you're on.
Yep.
Well, especially if the audience is only into hit singles.
Exactly.
Time with the biggest one. You can keep pulling somebody in. You get the newest hit single. When one drops, you can put another one in there on the radio, and that makes sense to do.
Yep. With the general attention is getting shorter and shorter and shorter, honestly, in terms of audience and listeners. It just seems like you got 1, 2, 3 singles, and then that's about it. That's where they cut it. So
that's another thing that we've sort of are taking on in the model of our videos coming up, is that to do the videos to the quality that we have done them, it takes a long time, and we got a video from
because he does it. So reminder, like this is something that
it takes forever.
It takes a long ass time to do it. Explain. Sorry, I won't cut you off. Go for it.
So we've come to the conclusion now that it makes more sense for us to sort of compress the song into, instead of a 8-bar verse, it's a 4-bar verse, and then it's a 2-bar pre-chorus instead of a 4-bar pre-chorus, and just condense the song as close to a minute as we can and have this video in there. For instance, Happen Again, you might have seen the video for that. Kind of looks like an iTunes thing. Didn't want it to look like that, but it does kind of look like that. Anyway.
I didn't even think that till you did that. Thanks for ruining it.
Yeah, that song is originally like 7 minutes long or something crazy like that. And it just didn't make sense to make the video 7 minutes long. So we just cut out the entire second verse and just went straight to the heavy ending after the chorus. And that's kind of what the model that we think works the best for a little music video is you're trying to capture a user's attention and keep them with you for that time. If you keep going too long, you just wasted your time in building it because they're not going to sit there.
A further point to that, though, is kind of what it really fundamentally comes down to is that the way that people are absorbing a lot of these music videos these days is Instagram and TikTok. And they are watching it not as much on YouTube as full-length videos, which is 3.5, 4.5, 5.5 minutes. They're watching it in 30-second to 1 minute little clips. And to be able to condense a song into just that amount of time and that as a video is kind of priceless, because that is the format that is most readily consumed these days by the audience. And so we're trying to kind of, although honestly, I hate it, and it sacrifices the integrity of the idea of doing a video that encapsulates a whole song. there is something to be said about, you know, just actually playing to the market and playing to the audience, which is, you know, they only, for the most part, watch videos. Like a reel can only go 30 seconds or whatever on Instagram.
And the way that we reconcile ourselves with it is to now look at the video as an advertisement for the song, which is the product, and then the song is an advertisement for the tour, which is the product, you know. But the video is more of just another little piece of art that's to grab your attention rather than being the final product, which is the full song.
That's how we reconcile it.
Yeah.
Well, just devil's advocate on this one. Behind you, Pink Floyd.
Yes.
They don't really do no different to stuff. What if you you just did the long video and then edited a smaller version of the same video and put that up there and have the longer one on your website for the fans to go deeper, like, because you guys, I believe, like the longer stuff too. So you're not changing what you're, because aren't you going to feel like at some point you'll be writing and thinking about, like, how am I going to break this down to a shorter piece? Like, eventually it's going to start morphing in your head. How am I going to be, you know, changing my song to fit a format? It's going to
1,000%. But I guess I'll field it by saying this: that if I expect that 80% of our audience will only watch the 1 minute video, and 20% of our deeper audience that are actual fans, like, I guess, really engrossed proper fans, will watch the full thing, it's very hard for us to justify spending that much time
to create
a full-length video for 20% of an audience that will actually watch it, compared to what the most people will do is just watch it 30
No, I understand. This isn't wrong. This is kind of just a question.
I love devil's advocate. Thank you. I appreciate it.
The big point here as well is that Gilmore's not editing and animating the Pink Floyd videos. You know, they had a team of mofos to do that for him. So
no, I get that.
I'm just kind of like a team of mofos. I'd make a fucking an hour-long video for a 5-minute song. You know, but
because you're not a keyboard band. You're not a pop band. I'm not putting that down either because I like pop, other stuff too. But I'm saying, but you guys do have the rock in you. So there's a lot of avenues and time and space, and you can do a lot of stuff with your sound.
Yep.
So to put yourself in a little window, like I'm like, I wouldn't know what to do if I was you. So that's kind of asking as an outsider, like, you know what I mean, and a creative force, how to handle that, you know, from songwriting, because you know you're sitting down to write a song, you want to write the best song possible. Yeah. And you're like, oh, this song's good at 5 minutes. I don't want to cut it down to 3 now.
Well,
that's hard.
That does happen. We've learned to do a little bit more of that than we used to. For instance, on our first proper album, Nicotine, or EP, you could call it, Nicotine. Damn, that's got a song on there that's 12 and a half minutes long, and
all of them, the average is like 7 minutes.
Yeah, if we had that to do again now with the knowledge of music that we have now, a few songs, like I'd say Happen Again, could have been condensed to closer to 4 minutes. And we do a lot of that with our live versions of those songs now. It's not necessarily we got to cater to what the modern audience wants to do listening as a listener now. It's more like, you know, we're learning as we go as well. And that
self-editing is good too. I mean, you know, you might find if you don't edit yourself at all,
there's
go on forever.
Exactly. There's something to be said about kind of sitting in the moment and allowing those songs to just be, and allowing certain instrumental sections to breathe and exist and things like that. But at the same time, there's something to be said about getting to the punch and keeping things happening and keeping engagement continually, I guess, changing and making it, you know, constantly something has a different vibe in different moments. So it's definitely that's an interesting progression we've definitely kind of encountered throughout even the music that we've recorded so far, from Nicotine to now the Nothing But Now album and beyond, is that we're not anymore having as much fluff, I guess, is the best way of describing it.
And also, credit where credit is due, our dear friend Mike Pepe, who has produced the last 2 EPs for us. Not Nicotine, but Nothing But Now, and then this one that's sort of slow drip releasing right now. He really did elevate our understanding of the concept of pushing music as through the ation as possible. You know, don't belabor a point longer than it needs to be. Keep the momentum going. I would say is the best. Trim the fat.
Yeah, at this point, I didn't feel it was oversized some of your earlier stuff I could hear, but I mean, it feels like it's balanced. It doesn't feel like your songs are sacrificed for the length of time yet, for the long ones or the short ones yet. I haven't,
Yeah.
as an outsider, heard it. I mean, you can critique yourself, but you know what I'm saying?
We
Yeah.
hit KLOS, Should I Stay or Should I Go a few years back, and they ripped us to shreds, as they do for a lot of bands. But their main criticism, although they liked the music, was that we had to kill our babies. Was the quote that they used to say the exact point that we're talking about right
trim
now.
the fat, yeah.
Trim the fat, and because obviously it's a radio show, and they played Happen Again and On. I think those are the two that they played, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And they had those songs have intros that are like 30-second, 45-second, maybe a minute long instrumental intros into the song before vocals even start. So on the radio show, by the time the actual, I guess we're getting towards like regular chorus time for other songs, we're just starting to hit the verse.
Yeah.
And they're like, guys, they came back and they're like, guys, this is boring. Like, although the music's good, you're not like progressing throughout the song quick enough, kill your babies.
Yeah, kill your babies. Not that we gave a damn shit what these disc jockey dudes told us.
No, we're talking about.
But it is something that we learned through our time with Mike Pepe.
Well, that's a separate issue. The intros are like a nice soundscape, which is nice that you're hearing it. But when you always listen to the CD or the music or the MP3 in your car a lot, and you hear it, and you want to hear the song, get to the song. That's when that soundscape is nice. But it's just that's when it's a pain in the butt. But as a complete part of a song, if you're doing a full album or whatever it turns out to be, there can be different versions and different edits of things. That's why they do it. I mean, Zeppelin got
or radio edit. Exactly.
Right. That's what a radio edit was for, because you couldn't play like a 12-minute song or a 7-minute things or Cashmere. Everything was edited down a certain way. That's why they do it. So there's a meet in the middle.
Cashmere or November Rain. Isn't that the longest one ever to be number one or something? I think you're right. I think November Rain. Crazy. It's a long song. Yeah. I always feel it's over and it starts over again. I love that.
I can never remember when it's over. No, I'm just saying, but I always think it's like it's over and it starts over again.
Yeah. 4 guitar solos in that one. I love that song.
It's so dope.
I remember I got that I had the bootleg of that before the album came out. Like when the Appetite came out, somebody got like all the studio stuff of it. And I had that as that and Shout of Your Love and a bunch of their older stuff before they released it on the other albums. I was in love with it when it first came out.
I'm one of those weirdos that even loves Chinese Democracy, dude. I think that's an amazing album.
Dude, isn't it a good album?
There's
some really good stuff on it.
Hey, the guitar solo.
I agree.
The guitar solo on This I Love is one of the best guitar solos I've ever heard in my life. It's like so melodic and just
preach. It's like it's a fretless one, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe so.
Incredible.
It's very emotional. The album is very, very powerful.
Yeah.
The sounds are very different. I think, hopefully in time it gets credit, but I mean, it just took so long, and all the weird stuff with Buckethead in the studio with the chicken or whatever.
Stigma and obviously.
And there's a few maybe overproduced, weird, soundy things going on. But for the most part, there's a lot of incredible songs on it. Madagascar, Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
This I Love. IRS. What's the one that starts with P? Whatever. Anyway, yes, incredible album.
What a pleasure. I've never actually talked to anybody. We've actually done this.
We get into arguments with people about it, and then the people that are having a problem with us saying it's an amazing album usually end up having never listened to the album and decided it's not good because Slash wasn't on. It's like, all right, guys.
Slash is awesome, but just there's a ton of other people on that were good too. It's a good album.
Exactly right. There are a lot of great other guitarists in the world.
I mean, it took forever, but that should go away. But everything else,
it was like only sold in Best Buy, right? I bought mine in Best Buy. That was like Best Buy exclusive, straight to platinum because they bought so many of them.
I remember when Tool released their new one. I saw a quote somewhere. I don't know if it's real or not, but apparently Denny Carey said it took them like 10 years or something, and he said, "I wish we had spent longer on this album," or something like that. And I'm just like,
I wish we hadn't been so rushed.
I wish we hadn't been so rushed. And I'm like, are you fucking joking me, dude? Like,
that's got to be sarcasm.
Like,
that's got to be sarcasm to get out of your system. I mean, it took a while.
It might have been some satire or sarcasm, but either way, I laughed my ass off.
It was Maynard, probably.
I almost like it should have been a double or triple album at that point. You should have had just some material, for 10 years.
Hilarious.
I think
it was awesome.
They sample themselves farting and people would still love it.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. This is really good. You guys are a lot of fun, and where are you guys playing for this tour coming up? Do you guys know all the dates? I didn't get to look at the dates yet.
We're going back to some of the places we were.
We started
at
in Louisville, Kentucky. I know that we play Fort Smith, Arkansas.
Wichita.
We play Wichita, and there's one other date that is eluding me right now. Let me double check it.
But we've only got 4 with them, and we're very grateful for those 4. It's our drummer is one of his favorite bands of all time, so we're very honored to be opening up for them for as many as they will bestow upon us. Right now it's 4, and we are grateful for every one of those 4. Proud of every one of those units.
Well, not a lot of people are touring right now either, so it's good that you guys are getting right back out there.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
Louisville and St. Louis.
Louisville, St. Louis. Boom.
Fort Smith and Wichita. So those are the 4 dates we got with Candlebox. Hopefully there'll be more. I imagine, or we're hoping at least, that we're going to be hanging out with Buck Cherry a little bit more later in the year. We'll see how that goes. But we've made a great connection with those dudes, and there's a great rapport just between the overall camps. Yeah. And there was a great kind of similarity in sound when we were playing together. It seemed like it was a really good fit. So we're hoping to hang out with those guys again later in the year. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, those are the 4 dates that we have.
All right. Thank you. And we will talk again real soon. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, buddy.
Take care. All right.
Appreciate it. Thank you.